Good morning, children. So, today we are going to discuss the p block elements. Okay, so in the p block elements, already we have done in class 11, group 13 and 14. But in class 12, we have four group, that is 15, 16, 17 and 18. So we will read the details about this group, their elements, their properties, their nature, their reactions, their chemical properties, their physical properties. So all of the things we will read over here. So first I'm coming to that group 15 elements. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. So 5 electrons are there, 5 elements are there in group 15. So in group 15, nitrogen and phosphorus, we know they are non-metallic in nature. Arsenic, antimony, they are metalloids. That means they have both metal and non-metal property. And bismuth, it is having the metallic property. So we can see that if we go through from top to bottom in a group, in this group, that from nitrogen to bismuth, we can see that if we come down in the group, that metallic property increases. Why it is increasing? Because that if we come from top to bottom in a group, then the size of the elements, it will increase as the new cells are added. Principal quantum number is increasing. So that is why the force of attraction between the electrons, the valence electron and the nucleus, it will decrease. And metallic character means the tendency to lose the electron. So if the force of attraction becomes lower between the nucleus and the valence electron, it can easily remove this electron and it can show the metallic property. So that is why from top to bottom in a group, if we go come down to the group, then we can see that metallic property, it will increase. So the valence electronic configuration is ns2 np3. That is 5 electrons are there in its valence shell. That is why these elements are present in group 15, and valence cell electronic configuration, it is ns2 np3. So now the next point, nitrogen differs in chemical properties from other elements of the group due to its small size and high electronegativity, high ionization enthalpy and non-availability of d orbitals. So nitrogen differs in chemical properties from other elements of the group due to its very small size. Nitrogen, it is very small in size and it has high electronegativity. Because it is very small in size, the density of the electron, it is very high, and high ionization enthalpy, because the ionization enthalpy means the minimum amount of energy required to remove an electron when it is present in the gaseous state, and nitrogen is very small in size. So the nuclear force of attraction between the nucleus and the valence electron increases. It is very greater in case of nitrogen. So its ionization enthalpy is very high, and non-availability of d orbitals. Of course, nitrogen don't have any d orbitals, because d orbital, it is present only for principal quantum number if it will start from 3. But nitrogen, it is having the last cell, that is valence cell electronic configuration 2s to 2p3. So it does not have any d orbital, so that is why it has no d orbital. Okay, they exhibit two oxidation state, +3 and +5. Why? Because +3, if p electrons can be released, then the oxidation state will be +3, and 5 electrons, if it will be released, either 3 or 5 electrons can be released. This is due to two oxidation state they can show, that is +3 and +5. So now the +3 oxidation state due to inert pair effect, sometimes due to the inert pair effect, that porous shielding effect of d and f orbital, when d and f orbitals are present. So that time what will be the effect? That nuclear force of attraction between the electron and the nucleus increases. So that time if it wants to release the electron, it will require more amount of energy. So due to this inert pair effect also, +3 oxidation state may exhibit in this for these elements. Okay, so the main use of the nitrogen is the manufacture of the ammonia. Ammonia is a very common product of the ammonia. Nitrogen, that is the uses of ammonia is very large. So to produce ammonia, nitrogen, it is very much required, because the formula of the ammonia we know, NH3. So nitrogen should be present in this particular molecule. So nitrogen, it is required. On a small scale, ammonia is obtained from ammonium salt, which decomposes when treated with caustic soda or lime. It forms metal salt, water, and ammonia gas. So ammonia is obtained when ammonium salt like NH4Cl, which is decomposed with caustic soda, that is NaOH, then it will form metal salt, water, and ammonia gas. Ammonia can be prepared by treating the metal nitrides with warm water also. It can be prepared by treating metal nitrides with warm water. Okay, and it has trigonal pyramidal structure with nitrogen from atom at the apex. This is the structure of ammonia. So in ammonia, 3 bonds are there. If we see from Vesper rule 1, that nitrogen, as it is central atom over here, so nitrogen, it is having the 5 electron. So 3 hydrogen, it will share maximum 3 electron. So 5 plus 3, total 8 electrons are there. So electron pair, it will be 4 electron pair, it will be there. So in between 4 electron pair, one side is occupied by lone pair of electrons and 3 bond pairs are present between nitrogen and hydrogen. So due to the presence of this lone pair of electrons, nitrogen, it is in trigonal pyramidal structure, not in the tetrahedral form, and the hybridization of nitrogen over here, it is sp3 forms. In which forms ammonia can exist, that is dry ammonia gas, liquid ammonia. So form means that in which forms that ammonia gas can exist. First of all, dry ammonia gas, that is gaseous ammonia, liquid ammonia, that is liquefied ammonia, liquor ammonia, that is saturated solution of ammonia in water, and laboratory bench reagent, that is dilute solution of liquor ammonia. So in these forms, ammonia can exist. On large scale, ammonia is obtained by Haber process. In the Haber process, that nitrogen and hydrogen, they will be combined and they will form the ammonia. N2 plus 3H2, 2NH3. So N2 and nitrogen and hydrogen, we have to mix it into 1:3, or hydrogen or nitrogen 3:1. That time some conditions are required, that is pressure should be 200 atm to 900 atm pressure is required. Temperature should be 450 to 500 degrees centigrade. And catalyst, finely divided iron, and promoter we can use for this particular reaction, molybdenum or alumina, that is Al2O3. So this condition is required for the production of ammonia by the Haber process. Now we are coming to the properties of the ammonia gas. That first one, it is a very non-poisonous gas and colorless gas with characteristics pungent smell. In case of ammonia, we can get a pungent smell, and of course it is a colorless gas and non-poisonous gas. It is lighter than air and extremely soluble in water because of hydrogen bonding. It is lighter than air, its weight is smaller than that of air, but extremely soluble in water. It can be easily soluble in water. NH3 can easily soluble in water due to the formation of hydrogen bonding. Okay, now it can be liquefied with cooled to 10 degrees centigrade under pressure of 6 atm. In this particular condition, it can be liquefied. It forms white crystals on cooling. Okay. Now the next point, it has basic nature because of the presence of the lone pair of electrons. Why the presence of the lone pair of electrons? It can show the basic nature because it can act as a Lewis base. In case of Lewis base, what is happening? That the substance which can donate the lone pair of electrons, they can act as a base, and the substance which can accept the lone pair of electrons, that is if there is any deficiency of the electrons to achieve the octet or whatever, that time it can accept some electron density from another substance. That time it can act as a Lewis base. So as ammonia, it is having one lone pair of electrons, so it can donate this lone pair of electrons and can act as a good base. It acts as a reducing agent. Of course, reducing agent means the substances which can reduce another but can oxidize itself. So that means can reduce another means another one can add 2 electrons, can gain the electrons from ammonia. So as ammonia, as it is the electron pair donating, so electrons it is releasing, that means it is getting oxidized and it can donate the electron to another substance, that means another substance is getting reduced. So that is why it can act as a good reducing agent. And inhaling this gas causes irritation due to its pungent, very much pungent smell to eyes and respiratory system. Now uses of ammonia. That is first one, due to the high dielectric constant, as it is having a very high dielectric constant, ammonia is a good solvent for ionic compounds. It is used as a cleaning agent for removing gases in dry cleaning. It is used in manufacturing of artificial silk, and it is used as a laboratory reagent. Okay, so these uses are there for ammonia. Okay, so next we are coming to nitric acid. The formula of nitric acid, it is HNO3. The preparation, generally nitric acid we prepare by Ostwald process. By Ostwald process we can prepare nitric acid. So in this process, first we have to take that ammonia gas. It will react with oxygen gas, that is O2 gas. So 4NH3 gas plus 5 O2. So that time catalyst we are using like platinum catalyst we can use for that 500 Kelvin and 9 bar pressure. That time we are giving the pressure it is required for this reaction. So 4NO plus 6H2 it is produced in the first step. Now NO plus O2 it will produce NO2. Now NO2 plus H2O it will produce HNO3, that means nitric acid. And these steps which are occurred for the preparation of the nitric acid, these are called Ostwald process. Now detection of the presence of nitrate. Generally nitrate determination we will use generally the Brown ring test. It is a very good and interesting test for that identification of the nitrate ion in your sample. Suppose in your sample the nitrate ion it is present. So first what you have to do, you have to, suppose sodium nitrate you are taking. So sodium nitrate, of course it will have nitrate ion in this particular salt. So first you have to dissolve this salt into the distilled water. So first you are dissolving NaNO3 salt into the water. It will be dissolved in one test tube, and in another test tube what you will do, you will make a freshly prepared ferrous sulfate solution, FeSO4. Okay, so if some amount, very little amount of FeSO4 you are taking in another test tube, after that you add some amount of distilled water, then again it will be soluble. Then you add the FeSO4 solution into the main solution, that the salt solution that we are adding it. After that we have to add here in this mixture Concentrated H2SO4, concentrated sulfuric acid dropwise by a dropper in inclined position. So if we keep some time for this reaction, after some time we can see that a brown ring is formed between the two layers of the liquid, and this test indicates that in your sample nitrate ion is present. This reaction is only given to you that NO3 minus plus 3Fe2 plus 4H plus, it will produce NO plus Fe3 plus 2H2O. Fe2 plus, it is coming from ferrous sulfate. Now FeH2O whole 6 2 plus NO, it will make brown ring complex, that is FeH2O whole 5 NO bracket 2 plus, that is the formula of brown ring, plus H2O. So this is the brown ring test in the reaction form it is given. Okay. So next, for phosphorus we are coming. Nitrogen we have already discussed. In case of phosphorus, some allotropes of phosphorus we have to know, that white phosphorus, red phosphorus and black phosphorus. And phosphorus generally from two kinds of halides. One is we have already seen PCl3 and PCl5. In case of PCl3 and PCl5, in both of the cases they are sp3d hybridized, but in PCl5 the it is trigonal pyramidal and the structure, because all the Cl they are present by the bond pair, but in PCl3 as two lone pairs are present, the structure should be T-shaped kind of structure will be there. No, 5 plus 3 pyramidal structure it will come. Okay, and in case of PCl5 trigonal bipyramidal it will come due to this presence of 5 bond pair. So phosphorus can form different types of oxo acids like orthophosphoric acid H3PO4, orthophosphorus acid H3PO3, hypophosphorus acid H3PO2, H3PO4, H3PO3, H3PO2. So they can be produced by the phosphorus. They are oxo acids of the phosphorus, and oxo acids of phosphorus, they are very good reducing agent because the presence of pH bond. If you see the structure of the oxo acids, then you can see that in oxo acid pH bonds are there, and due to the presence of these pH bonds, they are very good reducing agent. So up to that we have discussed today. In our next video we will discuss the group 16 elements. Thank you. Have a nice day.